Okay, this is part of the EXO Mountain Gear Experience Challenge, the Sheep Hunt Challenge, um, April Challenge, as far as like equipment review, equipment assessment. It's the official challenge name. The question I'm answering: what changes, if any, do you need to make to my footwear system if my feet are not completely comfortable at the end of the long hike or hunt? What am I going to do to address this? Do I need to try new footwear, new insoles, new socks, or new strategies for managing foot care? How will I test and validate any changes made to my footwear system before the hunt plan that I committed to in the March challenge? Okay, so I'm going to review footwear, what I've been wearing the last few years, and my preferences. Um, So as little backpack hunting I've done, I did do a backpack hunt last year, last fall, and I still wore the same footwear and didn't have any issues. So I guess my footwear typically of choice is more of a flexible boot and a low top. I've never had ankle problems. I hate boots that come up really high. I feel like it's unnecessary. Like just above the ankle bone is fine with me. I don't want it right on the ankle bone or just below it. I'd prefer just above it. So 6 to 8 inches is all I'm looking for. 8 inches at the very most in a boot. Um, and I don't like too stiff of a boot. A lot of the hunting I do is still hunting, and so more flexible where you can feel the ground and be more quiet is more important to me than stiffness. So with that said, for the last 3 years, this is the boot I've hunted in, and this isn't even a hunting. I guess Danner sells hunting boots, but this is not part of their hunting line whatsoever. This is the Danner Mountain 600 full grain leather. Again, I've had it 3 years, and this has been the sole boot that I've hunted with. It's still in pretty good shape, I'd say overall. Like I still like I'm currently turkey hunting, and this is what I'm hunting in now. Um, the inside is very durable. I have some trail runners from Topo Athletic that I've had just 1 year, maybe 1.5 years, and the heel has worn out and has started to give me blisters. These I've had longer and put more miles on, and the back has never worn out. The inside looks like it's, could have came out of the store yesterday. Um, so yeah, these have never given me blisters. The flex, obviously, since I've used it more, it has more toe flex, some some rigidity in the back, maybe. So as far as like footwear choice and like downsides, this maybe has a little more side to side flex than I would like. I'd like a little bit more stability in the heel and keep similar amount of toe flex. With this being a full grain leather, it's a tough boot. Like I said, it's lasted me for 3 years of hard years, um, but it does not breathe at all. So this year on my backpack hunt, my feet got really sweaty. I wear darn tough socks, various thicknesses, and my feet just got sweaty. And if when I wore like the medium thickness of sock, it's like the darn tough hunt sock. They're a little bit too thick where my feet couldn't evacuate enough sweat. They sweat too much. I have sweaty feet, and my feet were just swimming, or my sock would be moving around and just not comfortable. Would annoy me a lot. Um, so for the I mean, I would still keep hunting in this boot. That's the biggest issue that I have. The second is the lug depth on the traction is not very deep. I feel like I don't get that much traction, and when it's say muddy, these tend to grab onto the mud instead of evacuate it. So if it's rainy or muddy, these tend to weigh your feet down with mud and make the traction not very good. So I wish the lugs were a little bit deeper. Again, I'm let's say 85% happy with this boot. It's not like a score of 100, but 85% happy. The biggest ding would be lug depth, and the second would be just not very breathable. Other than that, this is an amazing boot. I tend to have a little bit wider of a foot near the toes. This is a wider foot box and has done me well. Never had blisters ever wearing these. I guess one downside is always having to treat them. I felt like if I had like hunting in the snow, I wasn't hunting, I guess. Just went to go cut a Christmas tree down, and there was snow there, and I wore these and hadn't treated them after hunting season, and they just got really wet. They just kind of absorbed all that uh, wet snow that was melting, and my feet got cold because of it. So that is, I guess, one downside. I don't have enough experience with the synthetic to know if that would, I know that they likely dry faster, but I don't think they don't soak up wetness. So maybe leather is still better for that. But breathability is a big one. That's probably the biggest complaint. Second is traction. If they made this in a synthetic and similar weight, this weighs, I think I looked it up, around 34 ounces for both together. So about 17 ounces per boot. I guess it's in a size 9. I haven't actually weighed these, which I can do. It's all right. You just have to take my word for it, or the website's word for it. Yeah, the other, I guess, minor thing was the side-to-side stability, more in the heel. There's a little bit too much flex, and the sole has good cushion, but that just means that there's not always the best stability, especially side hilling or things like that. So I've been trying to look at different shoes, different boots similar to this, like really lightweight, lowish top for a boot, just above the ankle bone. These I found for like $140. Pretty hard to beat for lasting 3 years, if not more. I'm planning to continue to wear these in some occasions. Not going to retire them just yet. It's pretty hard to beat where you look at other brands of boots that, hunting boots especially, that can run into near $400 range and don't last that much longer. It's hard to justify buying those boots. I haven't tried those boots. I just haven't pulled the trigger on spending the money on those. But again, when I've found something that I like so much, I have a hard time, paying more than double for that boot when I have a boot that I really like. And most of those other boots are higher, up the ankle, which I don't like. So a boot that I am interested in trying, La Sportiva, typically, at least what I've been told, research online, a narrower boot, more of a European style, last. They just came out with the Ultra Raptor 3 mid, and it says right in the description that they widened the toe box last so that it could fit more people. And I went and tried it on. Put on the thickest socks that I had. Recently, I've been trying toe socks as a liner to help with the sweat problem. So that's, I guess, part of this answer is that trying to help with that sweating problem. I've also heard that there's like some anti-perspirant lotion you can put on your feet that a lot of guys like. I need to do more research on that. But sweaty feet I just have naturally sweaty feet. I just run hot in general, being honest. So this La Sportiva Ultra Raptor 3 mid, it's Gore-Tex, it's all synthetic, and it fixes pretty much all the issues that I'm looking for, and it's even lighter weight. So it has a good heel cup, fitting heel cup. It has more rigidity in the heel side to side. It has good flex in the toe area. It's a similar height as this boot, and it's all synthetic with a Gore-Tex liner. I went and tried it on. It's a little snug, but then again, all the other boots I tried on were similarly snug. So I think for me, I don't recall these being that snug. But I did try on just to see while I was at the store a brand new pair of these. It's not the exact same model, but they still felt snug. So I think for me, it's just a matter of break-in period, getting my foot used to the boot. Um, a boot that did feel really good and I was tempted to buy was, I have the low pair in these, the Topo Athletic Ultra Venture. They make them in a low shoe, both waterproof and non-waterproof, and they make it in a boot. Tried the boot, fit really good around my toes and my midfoot and heel, liked everything about that, but I just knew that based on the height, it came right to my ankle bone, like right mid ankle bone. And I don't know if I can explain this well enough, but this boot, the wings, so to speak, around the tongue wrap around your ankle like this, and there's not much material, like it just kind of envelops in there, and you don't notice any like rubbing or anything like that. With that boot is the opposite. The wings are like far out here and the tongue is really wide. It would have all these folds and creases no matter like how, if you were like really cinched down and get that boot tight, there's a lot of folds and creases and too much padding, and it rubbed right on my mid ankle bone. I just knew that would bug the crap out of me. Probably would consider that boot if it wasn't for that. Just the fit was really good on my foot. The La Sportivas, I believe, are, if I remember correctly, somewhere around the 14 to 16 ounce range per shoe. So, like 5 to 6 ounces lighter than these. So that's a benefit and why I'm still considering those. Another pair I'm considering is by Danner. It's called the Trail 2650 Mid. They're still a nubuck leather with a little bit of synthetic in the rear, lighter weight. They're something like, 28 ounces per pair, so 14 ounces per shoe. A mid height, lighter weight, similar sole. Kind of wanted to try a different brand, even though I like the Danners. They also make a Danner, I think they call it the ID 45, that is exactly this same boot, except they have a rubber rand that comes up a little bit higher and over the toe, and then a like suede nubuck leather on the top half. And for some reason, it's lighter than this. I don't know why, but it's about 2 ounces lighter per pair. I'm seriously considering that boot again, but I don't know what I'd be changing out other than a little bit of weight and nubuck leather instead of full grain leather. I don't know that it would solve my problems. I might just, if for some reason I don't like the Ultra Raptors, I may, instead of buying the full grain leather, do that Danner ID 45. I just wish they made it, that upper synthetic, and I would probably do that. If it, instead of a nubuck leather on the upper half, if it was just some synthetic material, I would probably buy those instead because I know they'd work. So yeah, that's the kind of boot I like. Honestly, I've never tried a really stiff boot, but just the style of hunting, a lot of still hunting that I do, I don't think a really stiff boot would benefit me. Who knows, on the sheep hunt, more of a mountaineering style boot may be beneficial. But so far, what seems to check all the boxes is the La Sportiva Ultra Raptor 3, all synthetic, Gore-Tex, 6-inch height boot, more stability in the rear, more lug depth and traction. At least with the Ultra Raptor 2, a lot of the reviews said really sticky grip, and like some aggressive lugs. So that's something I'm looking for. Anyway, other things I've been recently trying is the toe liner socks. Injinji from REI is usually who carries them, or you can get them from the website. They're really comfortable. When I've rucked a long ways, like a lot of miles, sometimes my toes rub against each other and get blisters. I haven't had that since running those socks, so that's good. And then I need to try antiperspirant lotion, I think it is, for feet. But sock system is good. I run all Darn Toughs, different weights and different thicknesses, and I love Darn Tough socks. I have no complaints there. So the main thing is trying out a new boot. Yeah, that solves those issues of traction and a little bit more breathability. But that's it.